Okay, so this is going to be a short brainstorming session because we've kind of already done some of the brainstorming already. It's what we talked about before with our new strategy with YouTube for the time being, and we're going to talk about basically solving some issues, like very common life problems, like solving loneliness, health, like being healthy with your body and also in your mind, as well as just like some productivity and optimization skills. We're gonna go ahead and move the camera so you can actually see this, but I've been thinking about this a lot lately and how I guess everything is connected. Like there is a sequence to how everything connects, I guess. And the way I see it, again, this is all from just like me thinking about it. So, if you have your own ideas, let me know because I really want to know what others think about this. So, I sort of see it as this, as the path. So, I'll read it out loud. I feel like the text is kind of small, huh? Okay, let's zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. So, initially, there's a spark. I feel like we've all felt it when we were young. We were inspired by someone or something out there that made us feel like, oh, I want to do that or learn about that more. And then we get motivated. So I guess I'll use like YouTube as an example since that's an easy one. The spark is just seeing other YouTubers. And then getting motivated is like, oh, I want to create videos as well. And then the mindset and philosophy comes next is how I guess like see it is like, oh, can I do it? Because you get motivated, but your mindset determines whether or not like you actually go for it. So I feel like a lot of people sort of have this as a barrier, like they don't believe they can do it, or they feel like they're not good enough, or something scares them. Maybe it's fear. And I think the cure is experience, but you you develop your mindset and mental fortitude when you do stuff. But it's still good to have like a really good initial mindset of being like, I'm never gonna get what I want unless I try. There's a lot of different mindsets, and that's why I feel like this is a category of its own. And I said it's got to be like truth-based, otherwise like you will eventually feel some pain because you'll realize things that you believe aren't true, basically. And then consistency comes next. So after you have like your mindset set, and the easiest mindset, I'll talk about this in a future video, is just believing that you can do it because others have done it, right? That's like one of the best mindsets out there is like, if they can figure it out, you can figure it out too, because, you know, there's a good chance that that's true. Okay, so consistency is a big one. I feel like this is probably the one I've had like struggled with the most and have gotten a lot better at this year as well as last year because thanks to like 30-day challenges actually. But P stands for physical, M stands for mental health. So physical health and mental health are very important for consistency is what I've sort of noticed. And then after you get some consistency, I put direction here. So this is like what some people would consider like to do first, like even before, like let's say mindset or philosophy or before consistency. Honestly, all of these things sort of happen all at the same time, but if I were to put it in an order, this is the order I would put because I feel like you have to be a little bit consistent with what you're doing first before you figure out the direction, because if you just think about things in theory without doing anything, once you start actually doing things, your direction and purpose and all that stuff is going to drastically change because, again, truth-based, like reality-based, it's like once you start doing things, you just figure out like, maybe I don't actually want to do this, or this wasn't as fun as I thought, or like this is way harder than I thought. There's just a lot of things that happen like with experience. So being consistent with doing anything, like just learning how to be consistent with like whatever you want to do, gaining self-discipline and all that stuff is important to do first. We can actually show the what I put as subcategories. So the mind and belief, like philosophy, mindset, critical thought, like these are things that I feel like you should develop initially. And then I didn't put spark and motivation here because I feel like those two things, there's not much to really explain about that. It's like I feel like you just feel those things sometimes, but you could, you know, think a certain thing to get more motivated. So I guess motivation can be included in this, but these are the three main ones I feel. I feel like motivation is important enough to put here. So I'll put motivation here. This is a brainstorming session after all. So after that, there is consistency. I consider self-discipline and control to be part of it, definitely for consistency, and then habits as well. And then I say lucidity, but it's basically just clarity. It's like having control over your attention and focus. That is something that is very important when it comes to these things. Habits definitely help a lot. Like there's whole books written about habits, but personally, I feel like I don't want to be like a contrarian. Habits are very, very, very useful, but if there's something I would put above habits, it's the activation, like your ability to actually like be aware of what's going on and then choose. Because habits is kind of like your you're subconsciously doing things. Like you just do it naturally because you've told yourself, you've done it so many times that you just kind of do it. But like if you can gain the ability to have control over like and be aware of like what you're doing and then choose to do the habit or not, then like that's a skill on its own in my opinion, and you'll gain just more consistency overall if you can do that. And that's what I've been working on quite a lot. It's sort of like the opposite of a habit. It's like a habit is subconscious, like unwilling, you're just doing it. And then self-discipline and control is like you're activated. You actually choose whether or not you do something. And then moving on, loneliness and connections is part of mental health. So solving loneliness, that's going to be a tough one. I have like a whole bunch written here. But there's also skills for connecting with others. It's not necessarily, I mean, it'll definitely help with loneliness, but it's not like you need it for, like let's say you're not alone. Like you don't feel that lonely, but you still want to be able to connect with others in a meaningful way. That's the difference between these two, basically. And then understanding yourself, this kind of goes with everything, to be honest, with philosophy as well as direction and happiness right here. And kinetic and health is like exercise and diet, pretty simple, straightforward. Let's bold this. And then we have direction and happiness. I'll put happiness here because I feel like it's very important for direction. I feel like a lot of people do things because of societal pressure and pressure from external factors rather than like choosing their own sort of like what makes them tick. And I speak from experience. It's like I really love playing piano and I've always wanted to get a lot better with it. Even though I've played it since I was in 5th grade, I still feel like I'm not very good. And I feel like I want to spend more time doing it and it makes me happy when I do it. But for whatever reason, I just like, I keep doing other things because I feel like it's more, I guess, there's more potential for making money and all that stuff. So this is something I am still tackling as well. And knowledge is knowing yourself, and then organization is very important for direction because I feel like, at least for me, I have like so many things I want to do. So having it organized and being organized is very important. And then choosing is like a skill on its own, being decisive about things. And I feel like it's very important for like direction and happiness is like just having the skill to choose and choose while knowing yourself and being organized. So that's sort of how I categorize direction and happiness. Again, all of this is like I just wrote myself without referencing anything. So I could be missing some big things, but this is kind of like what I thought. So please let me know if you feel like this should be included or something should be included in this category. And then we have execution and optimization. Again, this goes with the flow after direction. So execution and optimization is next. And I put ikigai here because the ikigai, which are the 4 things that you want, should be included in your execution, I suppose, is what I was thinking. But effectiveness is the first thing, like doing the right things. That's like the greatest optimization, right? You can be doing like the wrong things in the most time organized way, time optimized way, but it doesn't matter. Your effectiveness is going to be terrible because like you're just spending time on the wrong things. So putting your efforts and time into the right things is probably the first thing. And then learning techniques, as in like how you learn and your ability to learn, those things will definitely help with execution. Sort of like how I'm working on my audiobook project right now. I'm learning so much from it just by doing it. But there's also like learning techniques to make your learning process faster. And that's what optimization is all about. So useful skills is another one. This sort of goes into like effectiveness as well, like doing the right things. You want to learn the most useful skills to reach the goal that you want, which is, dependent on the previous thing, like knowing yourself and being organized and choosing what you want. And then tools. Tools, very, very important. I put hardware, software, AI, like if you know how to use the best tools out there, you will probably execute a lot better and be more effective. So learning the right tools, pretty important, and knowing what's out there as well. And then the last one is impact. I feel like I've never reached this step, so I know nothing about it. So I just put money management and investing. I mean, I know stuff about investing and the rough basics of budgeting and money management. It's just numbers, right? It's just math. But until I actually get to a point where I'm like, I don't know, hiring other people and all that stuff, I feel like this category would just be left untouched for now. And then we'll just be focusing on everything else. But this is everything I guess I naturally talk about, which is a lot. But I like talking about it because I feel like it's kind of, I feel like everyone goes through something in this for sure. And I guess I just want to try to figure out like what are the biggest problems in these categories and what are solutions for those problems, and just talk about them. And eventually on my main channel, I want to make like a big video where it's like, I call it a classic, or I got that from like Noah Keegan's podcast at some point. Some guy called it a classic, where you make a video that's like really, really good. And like that's the only video you really need to watch for it. Like I don't want to keep making videos about the same thing over and over and over and over again, which I feel like YouTube encourages, but I rather just create like one really good video where it's like a step-by-step guide to solving like one of the bigger problems in a category, like for instance, all the best tools out there as of 2025 or something like that. Like these are the ones you should be using. Like that would be a classic video for 2025, I guess. Probably not a good example. Something that's a bit more universal and not time dependent. So yeah, time independent. So like habits, I guess. But I created a whole course about habits. But yeah, I guess all of these have definitely their own merits in terms of like how much time should be spent on each of them. I'll probably spend very little time on diet, but I like exercise in general, so I'll spend more time there. But yeah, it all depends on like what I like and what I want to do. But either way, I just wanted to, everything's connected. I wanted to show that because when I initially showed this, it was kind of disjointed, and I spent some time just organizing things and like deciding, okay, I feel like this is the best order to sort of see it in like a framework, right? To have it organized in my head. But this is basically it, and yeah, now we're just gonna make some starting videos for, I guess, each category. it's kind of a lot. So, yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time just thinking about these things and offering my solutions and wisdom and whatever I